Dgenz Crypto Weekly with Frens, episode 55 with Opulous is coming right up.
Dgenz Crypto Weekly. Let's go. Dgenz Crypto Weekly. Let's go. Dreaming of Crypto Weekly. Ooh, needing those gains so quickly. Oh yeah. Let's break through the chains as we're so feeling strange. No. Dreaming of Crypto Weekly. Oh yeah. Crypto Weekly, here we come. Making dollars on the run. Speaking freely, also dearly, quite clearly. Our shit coins are getting spun. Dreaming of Crypto Weekly. Ooh, needing those gains so quickly. Oh yeah. Let's break through the chains as we're so feeling strange. Dreaming of Crypto Weekly. Oh yeah. Let's get it right. We got it solid on the dials, making everyone smile. Terry's got the magic touch, showing shit coins that are much to be desired and loved, like teddy bears and hugs. We collect them all, no dumping. Anyone tell me when they're pumping? Do what you want. Oh yeah. Do what you want. Oh yeah. Whatever you do, it's on you. Oh yeah. Whatever you do, it's on you. Dreaming of Crypto Weekly. Needing those gains so quickly. Oh yeah. Let's break through the chains and justice get the reins. Dreaming of Crypto Weekly. Oh yeah. Let's get it right. Dgenz Crypto Weekly. Dgenz Crypto Weekly. Dgenz Crypto Weekly. No. That's all. Dgenz Crypto Weekly. Dgenz Crypto Weekly. Dgenz Crypto Weekly.
Welcome, friends. Welcome to another edition of Dgenz Crypto Weekly with Frens, episode 55. And we're going to be hosting Opulous all day today, including Lee from not only Ditto Music, but Opulous. Looking forward to that. But I really want to know my Dgenz family is doing right now. How's it going, Stylist? Terry, what's going on?
Good morning,
Well,
Terry. Good morning, Terry.
good morning, Stylist. Yeah, well, you guys know me. I'm on the charts, hard on the charts this morning, and things are a little wild and woolly.
So I'm assuming you're really deep in the trenches with the shitcoins, so you can probably go over some of them later. I'm really amused by the stuff that you do, really. Every single day you bring up some new memes, and you're killing it, and I love it. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you in terms of what we have in the weeds of the meme coins. In Stylist, how's it going? Did you finally build that house of yours in LA? Are you still floating? Are you still floating on a ship somewhere? Cruising away somewhere.
No, Terry. I keep getting rugged IRL too. So, as you heard, my car got stolen last week. So, I was actually thinking by the time I will finish with the Reno, maybe my house will be also stolen. So, I don't know, Charles. I'm still in this weird spiral of events, but it doesn't bother me anymore. There is immunity to everything, to the bear market, to the rugs, to everything. So I guess I developed it. Good news. Or maybe I just went completely crazy, There is a chance.
That's hilarious. Personally, I have a funny story to share before we get into everything. So I'm a firm believer now that cats are trying to kill humans every single day
What?
that we will live together. I honestly believe this is the case. I think we all love our cats. We treat them very nicely and everything else. But I think honestly, deep down in their hearts, they're trying to kill us. And
I
I
wonder
say
what
this now,
Black Cat has.
finally realizing this thing that happened at home. So we have this 10-year-old cat now, and she's wonderful. She's a little bit on the chubby side or whatever. And every single day, honestly, every single night, she grabs Barbies by the hair in her mouth, and she walks them up the
What?
stairs, meowing and asking our kids to play with them, right? But it's to no avail because they don't really do anything with her, and she gets really upset and whatever. So I think over the course of time, what she's ended up starting to do is she's actually actively placing these Barbies in very strategic areas around the house. So we actually take a tumble or crash or kill ourselves. Because right now, every single night, you can find at least 4 to 5 Barbies on our steps. And you can imagine us going up and down the stairs where we can't see anything. There's I've stepped on a Barbie
It's almost
before,
like
and
Lego. It's almost like Lego,
it's worse
But,
because they're bigger.
but
It's worse because they're bigger, and it's like when you step on a Barbie, I kid you not, I had to hold on to the guardrail a few times because I honestly almost died. And she does it every night, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're actually trying to kill me. You're not trying to win me any favors or win kids any favors. You're actively trying to kill me. So I want to know from everyone else, like, what are you guys experiencing with cats?
I wonder what Black Cat will say. He's kind of cat himself. Admitted, Black Cat. Do you want to kill us all? Oh God, Chart, your stories.
I think the
Well, I want to
cats
know if
believe
you
that.
guys, while I'm trying to get Lee to come on, I think he's having issues with the link. What do you guys have in terms of your cat stories? I want to hear from you.
Oh, I don't know about cat stories. I like cats. I do think that they're probably trying to take over the world, though. I mean, they believe that they're superior creatures, right?
Yeah, there is definitely some kind of entitlement. Like my cat is entitled. He looks entitled, He lives entitled. Although he's like 22 years old cat, he feels like a king of the world every single day. So I agree with Terry. They're taking over the world. Also with their cuteness. Terry, are there any cat meme coins that you are following right now or not?
Oh yeah, a bunch of them. To be honest with you, there's been so many of them. The meta has been Chinese cats and dogs. But I guess yesterday the Chinese cats and dogs really started to pop off, and yeah, there are just a ton.
Yeah, it seems like it's a trend in memes to have some kind of cat characters. They're just so cute that nobody can resist them.
Well,
I
not
really
not
want to start, Terry, I really want to start following your meme points just for fun, because I know that you never talk about this like a serious investment. It's more like a gambling and play. And it feels like it's a really interesting play to be in. So I'm looking forward. And for those of you who is wondering where Terry is posting his charts, check out Dgenz Crypto Network in our Discord. Lots of explanations. You can also ask questions, which is so nice. It's a special feature. And please follow us everywhere. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on any social network that you will find. Listen to charts, daily streams. Your support, your participation is so important to us. It's the major thing why everybody is doing what they do.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up the pages right now. So we have my account. If you want to follow me all along, we have, I do a daily stream that I talk about the markets. I dissect as much as I can. If you want to follow our sister account, like I always say, this is our Dgenz NFT account. We're an awesome community that tries to brave this crypto world together, and we try to uplift each other. in moments like we just had, the last 3 days were very bearish. Everyone's crying about their gains, whatever, and so we tried to navigate through that together. And as well, we definitely want to follow Opulous. Okay, if you haven't already, this is a platform we're going to talk about in a second with Lee. But if you haven't had a chance to follow on Twitter, this is your opportunity to do that now. Lastly, so we know if you are following on the stream, okay, and you want to interact with the stream, you want to ask a question, to Lee or myself, or specifically InStylist, because I know InStylist has all the answers. You can go ahead and just in chat itself, just say hello.
Just say hello
Dgenz,
when Binance.
like that.
I think today, isn't it?
Yeah, let's do that. When Binance.
You're encouraging it to them. I've seen you on Twitter.
Just like that.
I'll ask him. I'll get it. Bad man.
I have to, because people need to know. Lee, that's really, really important. Is when Binance, because
I've told you, instead of we would never announce that professionally. It would always be to a random person who asks us in Telegram at some time of the day. That's the plan. So keep asking in Telegram till you get the answer. That's sarcasm,
I think we
by the
need
way,
to
in
ask
case anyone's not English.
Yeah, I think we need to ask CZ. I think he has the answer. I mean, he's been locked up for 4 months. I'm pretty sure he was contemplating, which tokens to list immediately once it got released. So I think we should definitely get into something like that. So,
but we can definitely talk about it though, because it's always worth discussing. Because I know you talk about this stuff all the time anyway, but we can talk about whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's not just easy just to go and get a listing from Binance. First of all, you need a few factors, right? One is volume, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, do you have that volume? And because if you do, it's great. If you don't, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get a listing. Secondly, is if you don't have the volume, but you still want the listing, you got to pay up, right? You got to pay up a lot of money.
Even on that side, if you look at the coins, right, I think, Casper's not on Binance. A lot of the coins, I think a lot of the exchange, right, because of the regulations last year, they stopped listing so many tokens. Mm-hmm. But obviously, there's still a lot of huge coins, in the top 50 that aren't actually on Binance. But like, as you said, it's all I said this on Twitter before. It's like going up to Ronaldo and saying, look, you've had a great career. You're a billionaire. You've done this. Have you ever thought about entering the World Cup? Of course he has. You know what I mean? But like, you can't. It's kind of it's a bridge of everything
right.
You're doing, right? And it's like instead of just asking everybody on their project in their Telegram when Binance, go and have a look at the product and think, okay, well, is this something that'll get listed on Binance? Okay, well, I think this will get listed on Binance someday. Well, that makes it an incredible investment opportunity, doesn't it? So you've kind of got to look at all the things they're doing. Like I said, are they building volume? Are they building community? Are they building users? Are they consistently putting good products out? Those are the kind of projects that obviously eventually will get listed on Binance. And we actually did a partnership with Binance a few years ago, I don't know if anyone remembers, for the NFT drops that they did.
Yes, they do.
So we're obviously it's all very close circles, man, and there's always conversations between everyone, in these circles, and always just watching out for those kind of things. But as you said, it's all coming out of a bear market. It's unlikely, for the last 2 years, you're going to see many altcoins listed on Binance because the volumes have dropped off. But as we go into the bear market, after we go into the bull market, and there's more projects being listed, that's kind of the point.
Exactly, and that's actually a good metric.
More likely to happen.
The more listings they are, we're approaching the bull market because they want the liquidity. At the end of the day, the exchanges, all they want is liquidity, right?
Yeah,
that's all they want. They want trading.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's the essence of their business.
Yeah, they'll list anything. You could. I mean, they've just listed a bunch of new meme coins, right? You could come out with absolutely anything tomorrow, and if it was doing an X amount of volume, they would have to list it because they want the money. They don't want everyone else taking the money. So, and how do you get more volume? Well, you bring more users in, you bring more traders in, and it's all a mapped out kind of flow of what you're doing every day as part of the business. It's one of those things you're doing.
Exactly, and the thing is also, if you have a good you have a vesting schedule that pays a high APR, for example, and they can capitalize on something like this, then they're definitely going to list it because they can control then a huge supply of that token, and they can stake it within that contract and make so much more money, right? Yeah. Because they have these, centralized exchanges are funny. They have these profiles where they'll say, we'll give you, say, 6% APR when actual staking, self-custody staking is giving you 8. So they'll take the difference. right? And that 2% difference is actually massive on a huge scale. And so, people don't get those things, right? And this is why exchanges, like centralized exchanges, would love to have tokens with certain APR structures that kind of favor them. When they're low, it's really hard to extract any more value. When they're high, when they're like, I remember, I think Velo one time said that they were doing like 40% APR, which comes up to maybe about 7-8%, maybe 10%. And so, like, what is an exchange going to do? Is it going to offer that? Of course not. They're going to offer way less. And so they're going to take the difference. They're going to actually stake it in the contract within that platform, and they're going to take the difference. And it's happened so many times over.
Yeah.
So if you have a project out there that is giving out really good APR, and centralized exchanges feels like it's going to make money on it, of course they're going to list it, right? So this is kind of like the things that people don't know about. All right, so that's out of the way, right? No when Binance anymore. How about when Coinbase? How about when Coinbase?
That'd be nice, yeah.
The question about Coinbase is really like, is what you're bringing to them going to pose any implications or problems down the road, right? Because they're completely publicly traded, and they want no regulators to come at them for any angle, under any other way, because they're dealing with it to begin with. They just want to get away from that.
This is a good point, right, for anyone looking at projects, because I talk about this all the time with Ben, because we're always researching and stuff. If you look at any project, right, that mentions price, or even the founders that are mentioning price, they're never going to get listed on the exchange. It's an instant red flag to tell you they don't understand the whole process. Because if you're going to get a listing on Binance, or you're going to get a listing on Coinbase, or any of these things, and you're retweeting something from today's top gain is 20% up in price, that's not going to happen, because you instantly make yourself a security. So an easy way to spot shit coins, or these things that don't really know anything about the market, do they have like really crappy KOLs kind of constantly pushing the same thing that a bot like, and are they tweeting about price? Because anyone in the skin has any skin of the game for longer than 6 months will understand that you can't do that. So it's a really good thing to look at when you're looking at what to invest in. I don't even do it.
And as well, like if you look at the listings just by Coinbase alone, if you look at the things they list, you immediately know they've kind of passed their security checks, right?
Yeah.
So they've looked at certain projects and say, are these potentially going to be securities on the road? Are they going to penalize Coinbase? Because at the end of the day, like they have to present themselves to shareholders at the same time.
Yeah.
At this point, it's almost good that they went public, because now they have the responsibility to everybody to be completely legal, completely above board, not to get anything shady, because when you look at Binance, for example, as a good comparison, they can do whatever the hell they want, right? They don't have anyone to answer to. And this is why they skirted for such a long time, because they're trying to avoid these hurdles in listings and advantage of the circumstances that are in crypto. But I applaud Coinbase in that sense that, they're pushing the narrative of crypto forward, but legally making that balance work for us, right? Because it was just Binance,
that's why you've seen less listings. You've seen less listings on Binance, because no one's looking at them thinking, well, I just I definitely, prison's a good idea. They're looking at the CZ thing and thinking, well, they're being extra careful and regimental about everything now, which they they probably should have been before, but there was so much money at stake. But that's why that's why even like people like BitHummer have stopped listing stuff.
And I think maybe that's the best thing that's ever happened to crypto is CZ going to jail. Not only lifting that cloud over his head, but now we know, like, okay, if the big dog can go to jail for 4 months for doing these things, everyone can. And that set a precedent for everybody else. And I think it's almost good for everybody to understand that this is the way forward. You can't be, I hate to use the NFT world, but the NFT world is ripe with that. Scam here, scam there. There's no repercussions at all. And we got to stop with that, right? If you want liquidity to flow into proper projects all the time, got to get away from these scams, right?
Yeah.
Let's remove that shitty liquidity and let's move it into things that are really important, like the RWA sector.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's do it, please. Move all the liquidity.
Okay, before we get into like Opulous and everything else, and I really want to get into the weeds with you because I have so many questions. Let's do a quick market overview. I think everyone kind of wants to hear what's going on with Bitcoin and markets. I know Salis has a really good question to ask at some point, she's laughing right about now. But let's go to the markets themselves and take a look at what we have for Bitcoin, because it was looking shaky earlier today. But I mentioned in today's stream that it's not that bad, right? If you look at the screen, we have this support right here on the 200 EMA on the daily, okay, and it looks like it's trying to hold, and it's doing it's what's it's supposed to do, is hold at that level. And if we get that hold, we should be able to rebound pretty strongly to the upside. Okay. The other factor we have is the dominance of Tether. When I was talking about it in today's stream, I mentioned that there was a formation of this head and shoulders, like right about here, and that we were getting to the end of this upper area of the right shoulder, which means there's going to be some downward momentum in the Tether dominance, which obviously means we're going to have some upside in crypto. And we all know, by looking at the charts that we've analyzed many times before, October is the most bullish month of the year. Okay, and I will show you by facts. So this is by quarter. I'm going to put it on the monthly returns. You can see that October has been fairly bearish, right? We are about 4% down for October, but as you can see, on average, we should be about 20% up. That means in the next coming weeks, we should at least get to 25 to 30% to the upside just to complete the average alone, right? Now, there's different years produce different numbers. Like, for example, 2020 was 27%. That was the year before the bull run. During the bull run, it was about 40%, right? In 2017, which was the bull run year, it was up 47% in October. The year prior to that was about 14.7%. So history is on our side. So when you have these kinds of days, when you have October starting out minus 4%, I said it in the daily stream, and I'll say it again, use your available liquidity to add to your positions today. Because if you're not adding on days like this, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because there will be moments when everything's up 28%, 30%, even 100%, and you're going to wish they were cheaper and you had your opportunity in early October. Okay. If we even look at weekly returns, okay, so we are at this week, and you can see that historically this first week of October was about 4% bullish, not 7% bearish, right? Again, you're given a chance to buy 7% cheaper than you would have normally, right? Looking forward to the 41st week, 42nd week are primarily all bullish at 6.29% and 6.15%. And as you go across, you can see like it gets higher, even up to 10% the first week of November. All right. And then becomes a mixed bag because it goes up and down, right? So November can be, depending on the year, up or down. Same goes with December. So you should be adding at these levels, no matter what you see today. Remember, you're buying at a discount.
I think we had there was two main things left to happen, right? There was two scares, right, for Bitcoin to drop. We had the jobs data, because the jobs data came in good, which ultimately is quite bad for Bitcoin. The reason it's bad is because if the job data comes in better than expected, people expect less of a rate cut, so they're probably expecting a 25 basis points rate cut instead of a 50 now. So that dumped it on Monday, and then obviously you had World War III breaking out. And those were really the only two things that we had left. So if you look at the dip we've had, it's not even that bad, to be honest. There's not really much else to get through now, after that point. And Bitcoin dominance kind of nearly hit 60%, which was kind of the level it needed to kind of break into an alt market. So, as you said, it's probably the best point you're going to get.
Yeah, and I was talking about also the Middle East stuff, and it's like, people can point to that as a way of, explaining why it dropped. And we already knew it was going to drop based on a few factors. And like you said, Monday there was data came in about, possibility of, the rates not going down as much as they should be going, right? So that's almost like a negative, even though it's a positive, right? Because it's all about expectations. If people expected a certain level and it does the opposite of that or less than that, then people react negatively. And so I think, with the Middle East, the problem is it's not a global situation, right? It may affect a little bit of the oil prices. We saw the oil prices go up 4% today. But overall, it's not a world event like COVID was. And even with COVID, like I even showed you guys on the daily stream with COVID, I'll do it again, is that we had the drop in 2020, right? And we dropped exactly where we should have and stopped. So we dropped right here, which is the top section of this level right here. And from there, we moved really quickly, right? Within a few weeks, we're already above and back to where we were before that. And then off we go into the bull run. So even with a world event like this, it doesn't change the fact that we're this close to that cycle. And, okay, so say, for example, a big war erupts there and it lasts for a couple months, there could be a possibility where things do drop, but they drop to this level, immediately go back up again, right? Just because, like, people are opportunistic, and charts in general are just psychology of people who are trading. And they get opportunistic at these levels, like at the blue, weekly EMA, at the red EMA, for example. And so it's all about, when traders become bullish, what kind of event it is. And I believe that Middle East stuff is just a non-event to me, absolutely non-event. So yeah, I'm still bullish. I don't think anything changes for me.
I agree with you on that chart. The markets hate uncertainty, and I don't think this is an uncertain thing at all. I mean, it definitely seemed like it was coming, and it happened. And again, market-wise, it just feels like a non-event. I think people are pointing to it, like you say, as an reason to explain what happened. But we talked about this dip, which I personally don't think is over. But we talked about this dip. I know we started talking about it weeks ago, right? So we knew this was coming.
Yeah, it's not like Ripple, right?
What you said, what you said was right, man. It's like news, it dips and they find news for the reason it dips, right? It's like, if it goes up tomorrow, they'll find an article that said it's gone up because of this, but ultimately it's just exchanges making money and traders.
Yeah, they're just, it's just a rationalization.
I'll show you the difference between the two, right? So one event, right, happens over time. So, for example, we knew, technically speaking, Bitcoin had to go down at the start of Sunday of last week. So we knew this was happening. So all of a sudden, we're trying to justify why it happened. With Ripple, it was actually a surprise event, right? So with a surprise event, there's absolutely a sell-off. Now, could have gone higher if we didn't have that? Sure. We could have gone to like this level here and that level there. But because it was a surprise event and it was announced that Ripple... the SEC is going to appeal the decision against Ripple for selling securities. So this is why it reacted the way it did. And also, of note, notice where it stopped. So if this was a crazy event, it would just keep going. But traders found opportunity at this weekly EMA, right? And they were buying back at this level, which is 51 cents. The point I'm making is it all depends on people have traded the event or not, COVID was a fast-acting event that people couldn't digest quickly, and they had to sell. Middle East happens over time. Even war with Ukraine happened over time, right? So people started trading to the downside, kind of priced it in. I think all of this is just nonsense to distract us from the fact that we're this much closer to that bull run. And it's going to happen sooner than later, and then we're going to be like, oh, we missed the opportunity, and we had it right in front of us this whole time.
It's crazy people have waited 3 years of bear market to kind of give up, weeks before, right? But that's how it gets you. Like all the way through the bear market, people still think they don't realize it's a bear market for the first year, and they're still buying. And then by the time it gets it, they're so exhausted that by the time it's nearly here, they're like, oh, it's not going to happen. They just cash out and leave. And a lot of people have. They were saying, a lot of traders just gave up in the last month because it was so brutal. And that's what the markets do.
Yeah,
right? That's what they want. That's what they want you to do.
Yeah, you capitulate at the worst times, and it's happened so many times over and over again. because it's really difficult to sell when you're up, I don't know, say 500%, and you're taking screenshots of your wallet and you're like, oh, I'm so happy, whatever. And it's really difficult to digest the fact that now you've lost 90% of the value. What should you do? Do you lose the last 10%? And I've met people like that. I knew people that sold just before the 2020 bull run. And it's a terrible feeling, like really, really bad feeling. So if you're this close to the bull run and you're selling and you're really weak and holding your portfolio together, like I really don't have anything else to say. Like I've been trying to uplift people to understand, like
it's weird how it gets to the way, because like I said, I remember most of my crypto I got from buying ETH really cheap, and when I tell people about it, they're like, well, I would have bought it. It's like, you honestly, even when it was like $100, it was really scary buying it. You wouldn't think it was, but I remember at the time, I remember when Bitcoin was 3K, and I knew some really, really big VCs who were like, oh, it's going to be $1,000 on Sunday. I was like, really? They're like, yeah, we were all, and they were completely wrong. That was the bottom. And even when it gets to the bottom, you won't buy because it will scare you so much. It's so difficult, man.
I know, and it's a psychology of a trader, right? And I always I actually ask people all the time, are you a holder or are you a trader? If you're a holder, these things don't matter to you, right? Because we're looking at the end of bull run situations. If you're a trader, you really want to make sure you're watching your charts on a 1 hour scale, a 50-minute scale, maybe even 5 to 1 minute scale. But these little things, if you're a holder, they can't phase you, and should not phase you, because you're like looking at macro levels.
Warren Buffett always says, he's like, I buy a stock, if it goes down, I'm really happy, I get more. If it goes up, I'm really happy. It's like, because he fundamentally goes and analyzes and researches stock. The amount of people that come into the Opulous Telegram when it's up like, go up 50% or something, like, oh, why is it up today? What does it do? And they've already bought it, but they don't look at anything, or have any idea what's going on. I'd say probably 90% of the people in crypto are buying coins. They've never probably been on the website. And I'm guilty of that too. I'll just, here and there. And that's kind of the problem with the whole thing, isn't it, really? It's like, if you're believing fundamentally in a project and the price goes down 90%, you should be, selling your kidney and getting in. Not that anyone probably wants their kidneys.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have requests for, checking out Opulous price. Let me get it in right there. Yeah, we're going to definitely chart Opulous. Let's do that now before we get into some fundamental conversation.
I can't really be involved at all with this kind of stuff. So I'll just
pull away and just let things happen. Okay, but just pull away. All right. So let's start Opulous.
I beg them not to give it.
So one of the things we want to do is take advantage of situations, right? So when you're thinking about buying, you're not buying there, right? You're buying on a red day like today, right? You're buying when it's down here. When we had that triple bottom I mentioned before at 4 cents, right? You should be buying at those levels. If you're not buying at those levels, then you got to say, when am I buying after the break? So when we have a breakout situation like this, right? There's always a confirmation. So when we have a breakout over here, it comes back down. We have a confirmation. So if you don't buy it at this level and you're waiting to see what happens, in the event that there is a breakout, first of all, shame on you. You're not buying at these levels. Second of all, you'll have to wait until we get to this level first, which is 20 cents, and then down to confirm, right? Remember, we're looking for 2025 as the bull run year now. Okay, so we're not doing 2024 anymore. We're doing 2025. And if you look closely, we're oscillating. Okay, which means eventually we're going to oscillate to the upside. And this oscillation level is going to be strong. Okay. When? Obviously, we don't know until everything fits together. All the conditions have to be right. Bitcoin has to be on the way up. Dominance of the Bitcoin is going down. We have the RWA sector starting to lead the charge. Then obviously things will start to line up. And I know Leah's going to probably pump out all these good news and all these new tools for everyone to see. So it's just a matter of timing. Again, if you're not buying here, you're going to be buying here. And then you're going to be asking yourself, why didn't I wait? And wait until, this moment here happened when we had like an opportunity for 7 cents and whatnot. So we really don't want to be, buying anything here. We want to be starting to sell either at 75 cents or $1. Personally speaking, I wouldn't suggest it because I'm expecting this wave to be really, really strong. So I'm looking for like a breakout, touchback, next level, back down to here again. And then we're looking for the upper area here. So for, I guess, HTX, our resistances are about here. So 340, so 364. We have another one here, about 289. And then the next one will be about here, $2. So you can see by just the resistances alone that we're going to have a massive run up. It's about 28x to that level, 41x to that level. And then we have 52x to that level. This is why I say to you guys, if you're not buying now, I don't know what you're doing. I really don't. Please tell me you're not chasing some meme coins. Most meme coins actually do go down to zero. We know for a fact that Opulous is not going down to zero. So, do your future self some favors and buy at these levels. You got it. If you already buy it at these levels, you do nothing. You do absolutely nothing. Unless you're taking your tokens and you're staking them, right, Lee? Yeah. We'll get into that.
I was on mute. I'm still not allowed to talk. Cracked a beer open.
I got you. So we'll go into the details of, why you should stake your tokens. Why you should get some USDC and stake that as well. We'll go over the platform in a minute. Do we have any questions or requests before we get into that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I have a request actually, Chart. Could you show the link to Bluefin and talk for a second about the opportunity to trade? Because I think that it's super important right now. People need to register and just start trading. And yeah, thanks. Receive your discount on future trading. I think it's 10%. And just support our project, because everyone who is registering, everybody who is participating in any kind of form, leaving us comments, likes, sharing the streams, everyday Chart is there. Thank you so much, guys, for everything you do to us. And thank you, Lee, for joining. I didn't have a chance to say hi yet, but I have some questions about Opulous, about the team, about how you guys operate.
About
It's
Miles.
just super interesting. So let's get to Opul. It's super exciting.
Yeah, awesome. You're the one that was that met Miles, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think no more questions about Miles today, or we okay?
Well, let me keep my dignity right now, because last time I said too much.
bullish.
The question should be: is Miles right now in LA?
Where is he? He was at
He's in
Tokens.
Singapore,
Oh,
right?
oh no, he's in Singapore. It's a quick flight.
Ah,
But,
see, I'm following.
dear me, she knows too much. Got a drone.
Yeah. Well, but Lee, may I ask you,
Okay.
how do you guys work? How's your team? Your team located in different countries all over the world. How do you work? Is it all remote, or do you have offices? I somehow missed this.
Yeah, sure. We have an office. We have an office in Singapore. Actually, there's a few people there. I live in Brazil, so I have a house in Brazil. And me and Fernando were actually in the same house. So he's my co-founder, and does all of the product managing on Opulous. So all the really amazing design stuff is through him, and he works with our dev team, who are, I don't know, I think they're in Singapore. So everyone's kind of spread out. There's about 4 people in England. When we started Opulous, I just kind of took because Ditto, my other company, has about probably 300 or 400 people. So I just kind of handpicked the best people that we had. So some of those are in England, On the VC side, where Miles is obviously he's better in Singapore, and it's all spread out really. Be nice to have an office. I wish I did sometimes, but it's nice being in Brazil, as you can imagine.
I can imagine. I love being in Brazil. It's beautiful there. Absolutely. But how do you guys work? Is it like everyday work, or you have like weekly meetings? How is it organized?
Yeah,
I'm always curious.
so we'll have a full team meeting once a week, and then I'll have a meeting with the marketing department once a day, and whoever's in charge of each section will have their meetings, and then we just catch up once a week, and everyone goes through everything they're doing. It's really cool, man. Like I said, it's the best team I've ever worked with. It makes such a massive difference to because there's loads of crypto projects, right? They might be good at marketing and you'll get so far, and someone will have a great product and they don't market it properly. But I really think that everyone in our team is the strongest person in their section. But Miles is obviously, he started a company when he was 21 that was bought by someone, so he's been very connected in the VC world for a long time. Fernando's always been an amazing product guy. I don't know what I do, but I'm always around. And so yeah, man, it's a really amazing tight knit team. But there's probably about 45 people altogether, I think, with the devs.
It's so incredible. Thank you so much for sharing the insights. It's always very connecting when you actually know what's going on and how the team operates and what's behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is important, to be fair, because people kind of, if you don't do an update for a week, like what are the team doing? It's like, man, we're literally just slogging it out for a 4-hour product meeting over and over again while you're complaining. It's hell some days, but obviously we all love what we're doing, luckily.
I think that also, when people don't see the behind scenes, they don't really realize how much it goes into what's happening. And
it's not like a normal project, right? If I was running a normal company, then I don't have to kind of, tell everyone there's an update coming in 3 months, do this, do that. It's like, it's all part of the process of running a crypto company. So, sometimes you can't tell people you're just working on something. Like, as I was saying in chat, we were supposed to give updates on a bunch of products this week, but because of the markets, I'm kind of just spreading it out a bit. And, we're working on some amazing stuff, but I can't just come and tell people what it is because, I'll put the stuff out too early. So it is nice for people to get updated on that stuff. But we also have a big ambassador group as well. We've got probably 50 ambassadors of Opulous, and we always have a monthly meeting with those guys. So they're very connected with everything. A bunch of them are probably on the call. And that's also really important. A lot of projects don't have proper... I was saying this before, when you'll see, every time you tweet something, there's a comment of like 20 people just shilling a coin, and they're not real people, most of them. The best thing any project can do is run a proper ambassador project. And ours took probably 3 to 6 months to set up, to get people verified, to give them perks, to give them, proper incentives. And those are the people that do all the hard work for you when you're not around. And they're always, commenting about Opulous. They're always keeping the community happy. And every piece of this is really important, and you can't really skip out on anything. But, hello to all the ambassadors who are on the call.
That's awesome.
So Lee,
yeah.
Let me ask a question again. And it's something that really I want to get from you is, why did you want to start Opulous? You have an awesome Ditto company that's doing amazing right now. I really want to know, like, what was driven you to, start Opulous in the first place?
Yeah, I do wonder some days why I started crypto, but it was 2017 when I first learned about Bitcoin, right? And I was working at Ditto at the time. We only had like 4 offices, and I spent the next year going to every country. I came to Brazil. I got the head of Warner's to leave Warner and set up the office. So I was traveling. I spent 12 months just basically traveling. I spent a month in one country. I set Ditto up. I'd move. And when I got to the Philippines, there was a guy there who ran a studio who, looking back, was probably an alcoholic, because we just sat there and drank just beer for the whole day. And he just took me through the whole Bitcoin thing. And it was just like a massive, wait. He was like, man, this is crazy. Like, I didn't know anything about it from that point. And then I got a flight home the next day. I read the book. I can't remember what it was. It was about Ethereum and all the other stuff. And from that point, I was just obsessed with it, man, because it was such a, it was like when you read it, you're like, well, obviously this is going to change everything, right? And whatever happens, whatever kind of coins are coming out, what everyone's doing, the technology in this is so far away from what we're doing. It's just going to be a new internet, and everyone's going to use it, whether it's now or tomorrow. And then obviously I was just looking at, the holes in the music industry that we've been trying to fix. And what were the holes? The holes were artists couldn't get access to capital without signing all their rights away. There was a load of bad deals being given out to artists. All the artists that made money, you know, and everyone from, you know, TLC, all these massive bands that made money, they don't have any money now, which is insane. You know, people that would, I don't know if you've seen the TLC documentary, but they, you know, they were #1 on Billboard, earning millions, and they just gave them like a secondhand car each. And he was like, you know, the whole thing was crazy, but the whole problem was when artists needed finance, the only way to go and get finance off a record label was to sell all of your catalog to them. So that's why no one from like the 90s or the 2000s in that era has any money now, because they took the money up front, sold everything. And, you know, that didn't last. That's why all these guys that had hits 20 years ago are still touring, because they have to. So it was just like, okay, well, how do you kind of fix those pieces, and how do you put something together? And it was also quite scary because, you know, I run Ditto, and Ditto has nearly 1.5 million artists now, and we put music on Spotify. So it's like, okay, what's Bitcoin going to do? Well, it's going to take away all the third parties that do anything. So it's like, okay, well, if I don't start something and kind of look into this properly, I'm probably going to sit here and I'm going to watch my other business just fall apart, because there'll be some new technology that will come in and change that. So I had to kind of work out what to do. And then 2018, man, I started raising, the bull run had just hit in 2017. Me and Fernando put I bought Bitcoin so cheap, like, you know, in the small thousands. I put it all into altcoins in December 2018, lost most of it. And then as I was trying to raise money for like an idea, even though I had Ditto, which was, you know, worth a lot of money, no one would take a meeting with me. And the meetings I did get, one meeting I had with a bunch of VCs, they came on the call and I explained what, you know, Opulous was going to do, what this was going to do. And they were just like, well, is this about Ditto? I was like, no, it's about Opulous. And they just literally just left. And it was like that. I must have done 100 meetings in the first like few months. I think I did 200 odd altogether, and no one was interested in anything to do with blockchain or anything to do with Opulous. I flew out to China to speak to a blockchain and the guy just came out and just shouted at me for 20 minutes about something and left. It was just awful. It was the hardest 12 months I've had to do anything. And then the market changed, and it was just like in September, probably 2020, and we kind of built a bit more by then. And obviously the market changed, and like suddenly everyone was just trying to invest in it. And we turned down probably 20 million of VC money to do a smaller raise in the end, because the markets were different. So I went through all that process, man. And the whole process I went through is so important, because you start to understand, okay, well, what's a crypto KOL? What is a good KOL? How do coins launch properly? You know, Opulous had, I think, the biggest ROI of any launch that year, because it, you know, it was like 5 cents in a month, whatever it was. So I did all that, and then, you know, I started meeting more people, and my contacts got bigger and bigger. And I've been in this 7 years now in crypto. And again, it's a massive thing when you're investing in a project, because you can have a great business person who's run a project before, but I'm telling you, it's nothing like running a crypto project, because there are so many moving pieces. Okay, you want to announce something. Okay, well, is that going to dictate the price of it? How do you make sure there's enough liquidity in the market makers? How do you make sure you're getting exchanged? All these other stuff about running a business. You have to be in the game every day for a long period of time. So that's why most of these projects come out, and they might have a good idea, but they're not going to get past that other barrier. You know, do you have the right CCs back in it? Do you have the right contacts when you need partnerships? All that kind of stuff. And, you know, on the back of that is obviously the product. And I always wanted to make, you know, a really good product that would connect artists and fans and all this other stuff. And, you know, the AI stuff we're building, it's just going through and fixing all the holes I see at Ditto with all the things. You know, the AI product was born because there was so many advances going out that we're giving out with no kind of guidance on how much a song was worth. So then we created an AI platform that predicts all that information. And that's something the whole industry, you know, is going to need when it comes out. So yeah, long story short, I'm glad I did it. Very stressful, but still here and ready for it. Ready for the new bull run.
You're a true fucking warrior. Holy shit. That's amazing. Like, it's really difficult to navigate, you know, one business aspect of music industry. You got now two. And it's funny how one created the other, right? And now you're
because you just see different. And you know, I've also got, you know, Ditto has a chain of coffee shops in England. I don't really do much on that. I'll take my mum in there sometimes, and you know, I run a management company. We had like, I think 4 top 10s last year and other stuff, man. But actually running a business gets easier the bigger it gets. Honestly, when I started at Ditto, it was just me and my brother with 3 customers. I probably did more work then than I do now, because it becomes an entity and you're just kind of doing all the boring stuff. What I love about Opulous and what I love about, you know, the last few years is being in the weeds and being there every day and, you know, seeing the product come out and getting reaction and changing the product. That's always been my favorite part of business. And that's why I like starting new things, you know, because the bigger it gets, you just end up doing most of the time it was just spent doing legal stuff or just something boring, man. So yeah, it's nice to just keep doing new stuff.
That's amazing, and it's it's funny how that works, right? You eventually evolve into something that you didn't particularly see, but it just depends on what the market's going to give you or what the
And
needs
this
are.
is a big one. This is a big rule on product, right? Because I saw there was a company yesterday that posted an email on Twitter about why they were stopping carrying on all the mistakes they made, and they were just like literally the most day one mistakes you can make. Don't come out with too much product in the beginning, because you want to come out with a small bit of product, see how the market reacts, and then keep building. Don't waste a year trying to build something because you think everyone's going to want it. Bring something out, see what the reaction is, take it back, keep building that, keep building users. And the Opulous users have literally been there since we did our first ever drop with Big Zoo like 3 years ago, and it was just an experiment we did quickly. And then we did that, then we tried something else, and we were on Republic for a bit, and we kept kind of changing things around to try and work out what the market wants, because you can have 10 products that are exactly the same. The one that's going to win is the one that has the best product fit and the best market fit, and is the most easy to use. And there's other companies that have come along and started doing the same thing as Opulous. There's Warner Brothers, they had a company called Level. In about 2019, we'd been running Ditto for nearly 10 years then. And Ditto was suddenly taking all this market share. We were like 6% of the UK market share at that point. And then Warner Brothers, I know because my friend was working there, they got him in the office. They got a bunch of people. They went through my whole website, launched exactly the same platform called Level, and just tried to do the same thing we were doing. And they closed it down about 3 weeks ago because they were too late. And I'd been through all the stuff, for 10 years of working out what to do and all this other stuff. And, you've got to, you can't just copy something and do it and think people are going to use it. You have to kind of, get your community involved, get their feedback, and just keep them motivated. And I think that's one of the best things about the Opulous community. We've been there every day in the bear market. They've been there for us, and we've kind of developed the whole thing together, because ultimately I want Opulous to be a product people just come on and use without me being involved. And as we were talking before about, self-serving MFTs and artists uploading their MFTs and selling them to their fans, that's the vision of what I want. I don't want me just saying, okay, we signed something, you can buy it. And for a product to truly go,
you want people to be going up there, exactly.
Yeah. So that's where it's going to go.
I mean, that brings me to another interesting point. So I know that some artists are starting to take advantage of their own communities, not financially, but they're taking advantage of their interest. And I saw that Iggy Azalea, for example, launched her own meme coin initially, and then really found out that it's not about a meme coin. It's about serving the community that she has and the fandom that she has for music and her like.
Is this cut out for anyone else, or is it just me?
Yeah,
No, I think it's actually happening. I was for a second also.
He's still out there talking somewhere.
Somewhere about the Azalea. Well, it gives me.
I was in the Matrix. Oh, sorry.
What happened to you, Charles?
I don't know. I'm sitting down. I'm not going anywhere.
Did you sit on Barbie?
On the Barbie.
What happened?
Yeah, I think I did. I think I'm picking myself back up. No, what I was saying is, what do you think about the fact that now artists are more incentivized to create their own tokens, right? Like we saw with Iggy Azalea creating the mother token, and now using that token as a means to not only give back to the community that they are part of or the fandom that they have, but also to incentivize them to engage with the community that they have. I saw also that's what happened with Jason Derulo and his token. What do you think about the future of these kinds of tokens? And is there any way to bridge them back to Opulous at some point?
Well, yeah, because ultimately, there's no intrinsic value behind it, isn't it? I mean, that's why I never wanted to do fan tokens at Opulous, and everyone wanted us to do them. We were offered money by different launch pads to say, why can't you just do artist fan tokens? I was what I can, but there's no value to it. So what's going to happen is that artists eventually will step away from it. It'll go to zero. And if you look at all of those PSG tokens, all the kind of tokens that came out, the fan tokens, are worthless. So even though it was a longer route to do what I did with Opulous, they will always have some kind of intrinsic value to it because they will always earn money. what will always happen in these scenarios is it's like, the last 2 years getting artists on Opulous was still okay, but it wasn't as easy as it was before, because when the NFT market blew up, my phone was going off like crazy, because every music manager is sitting there going, hold on, someone's making money in music. I want to make money in music. Who's doing it? Opulous is doing it. Phone them up, doing this and this. And it all goes in waves. The music industry love to make money, and they kind of see someone doing it, and they'll work out how to make money, whether people are in it for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. I mean, if Izzy was in it for the right reasons, I thought she would have, surely build a platform that people can use and get some value from. I don't know. Because fundamentally meme tokens, like you said before, they may go up, they may go down, but ultimately in 5 years, it's unlikely that we have, 2 or 3 of those that are still going, the big ones. But what it hopefully will do is, man, the problem is, again, it's like, it never brings out the right people. Look at the people who launched meme tokens, man. Andrew Tate, Iggy Azalea, they're all just, I'm not her specifically, but, someone like Andrew Tate, who is just a grifter, who will just jump on whatever it is to make a quick load of money. And the next one, because he's not Steve Jobs, he's not creating great products, he's just trying to make a bit of money by the next thing. And ultimately, these things always bring the wrong crowd into it. Jason Derulo was there, Lil Pump was there. All these guys that come in who just think it's easy to make money will come in and do it, and they'll find out it's not easy. I think with Iggy, she probably has got good backing now, and she's got in with the right people and the right VCs to make something of it as a meme token. But that's very rare. But ultimately, what it hopefully brings is more musicians into the space looking for ways to make money. But the problem is, with the bigger musicians that you speak to, it is all about money. If I told you some of the conversations I had, when we were looking for the first artist launching Opulous, I mean, some of them were like, we want some of the big DJs that you will know were like, okay, before we have a meeting, I just want we want 10% of the whole token supply. We want $1 million. That was the kind of thing it was. It wasn't anything about what does it do, what is it, what is it? It's just like, okay, well, everyone's doing something in the crypto space. This is the amount of money I want. So if you're taking that as the objective, it's not going to work, because that's the short-term objective, and that's why the NFT market didn't work. But ultimately, that's why I think Opulous works, because it's for the smaller artists who are going to break out, and we'll gather those fan base and grow with them and give them something properly. And I'm doing that at scale, right? I'm not just doing that one artist. When we open it to everyone, it'll be open to all artists and allow them to grow their fan base. So that's more what I'm focused on, man. But I'm looking forward to the phone going off again in a few months' time with every music. And I manage artists as well, so I know what it's like. If there's money out there, you want it. But ultimately, the best product eventually will win, and I think Opulous will be there.
Yeah, I guess it just give the musicians their tools and see what happens, right? And this is kind of like going back to the point about creating a marketplace for artists themselves. Let them use the marketplace to, give away their, I guess, rights to the songs in an NFT form and see what happens, right? Because that's going to be a self-promoting prophecy for Opulous, in a sense that, you don't have to do anything.
And we've got so many other products coming, man. Because one of the main things we were thinking about this year is, okay, well, MNTs are one thing, but if artists doesn't want to do that, how do we bring more artists in? How do you bring more users in? There's a thing I showed you that we're launching soon, I think will be massive, because it's a totally different element to what people are expecting, that I was going to talk about this week, but I'll probably bring that up next week now. There's the Opulous missions that we announced. If you want to ask me anything about that, we can talk about that.
Yeah. Do you have anything for me to look at? Maybe you don't, because I'm on the webpage and all I see is AI tickets, Ovault, MFTs.
Yeah. So it's not live yet. So basically, we have about 5 products ready that we'll be bringing out over the next few months, including the AI. Opulous missions is basically Galaxy, or the Galaxy campaigns people do. I mean, that's like a 400 million market cap token. Opulous missions does the same, but it does it for musicians. So there's an artist I worked with recently called Miles Smith, and he's absolutely massive now. He's like top 30 in the world on Spotify and all this stuff. And the reason he got so big was because he had a big TikTok audience, and he got them all over to his Spotify pre-saves. So every time he had his last single he did on Ditto, he had 100,000 Spotify pre-saves. Now, when you have 100,000 Spotify pre-saves, you're instantly going to go on most of the playlists, because the editorial team will, the algorithms pick it up. So most artists that come through Ditto, and we do 12 to 1,500 new artists a day at the moment. It's a record. So most of the artists come through Ditto, they all want the same thing. They want Spotify plays, they want Spotify followers, and they want to get pre-saves. They've got their link and they want to get people to pre-save it. So one of the Opulous missions, for example, You can go on the website, you can create a campaign for yourself. You can give an MFT away if you want, but you can also give away some merchandise. You can give away some Opulous tokens, USD tokens. If you just want to reward your community for doing different tasks, such as go and pre-save on Spotify, give me your email address, do all that kind of stuff. It's all done on a platform basis. So instead of just doing it ad hoc via Instagram, saying, you know, pre-save it and I'll pick someone out or whatever they do normally, it does all that. And then the artist gets to keep all the data. And one of the big factors in that is it's not only getting new people on, because, you know, if Miles Smith did that, I'd have 100,000 people on Opulous instantly, you know, so it's going to dramatically increase the people looking at what Opulous does. But it also means that when I'm bringing bigger artists on, which is what everyone wants me to do, right? If I'm bringing artists on like, if I'm bringing Snoop Dogg onto Opulous and I'm for an NFT drop, it's going to be drastically higher money because I've got to go and buy his NFT and I've got to buy his royalty, and you know that's expensive. But this is a platform that, you know, big artists can then go and use. You know, someone like a Taylor Swift who does this kind of stuff all the time will be more inclined to use a platform that does it all for her, and she can reward her fans for doing a pre-save. There's no way to actually reward them at the moment. So it goes through the Spotify API. It does all it looks at everything from, you know, who's played the song, all that kind of stuff, and then they can do a bunch of different tasks in there on the mission side.
Yeah, so this is for people that are listening in. So these missions are specifically tailored towards artists themselves who are trying to, you know, provide more content and more interactions with their fan bases. And in essence, essentially goes back to Opulous, the platform. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like another factor on the platform. But ultimately, one of the first phase of the missions is before we did the MFT drops. The only way you could get them was by holding Opulous tokens, or you could follow Opulous. But what the next mission, the next part of the MFT drops will be, it's going multi-chain as well, so it'll be available on Base and all the other platforms. You can go in there and the artist can set it so they have to, if they pre-save the song, they'll get extra points. If they go and follow my Instagram, they'll get extra points. And there's all these other things added now. So it makes it better for the actual fans of the artist. So it means even though the Opulous community are involved as well, the actual fans will get more points for doing more things to helping the artist, which also drives more artists in, right? Because they're doing an MFT drop. Okay, that's great. But now you're doing an MFT drop and you're going to get, you know, 5,000-10,000 Spotify pre-saves. It's very attractive for an artist who's putting a single out, which was another thing. You know, we looked at what are the issues with stopping artists signing up. Okay, well this one, okay, we'll give them more on this side to make it more valuable to them.
So I'm going through the Opulous Twitter profile. I'm noticing that you guys introduced a rewards version 2. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so we built the whole thing again, right, on Arbitrum, because it was on Algorand before, so we had to build a whole rewards platform again. I'd say one of the biggest changes is you can now withdraw an Opulous token, and a lot of people have been, I'd say a higher percentage at this point, have been withdrawing an Opulous. And when they withdraw an Opulous, what it does, it goes and buys Opulous from Uniswap straight away, which obviously adds to the buy pressure. So as more users come to Opulous and more people, you know, the MFT rewards get higher. Every time there's an MFT rewards, you'll see more buys coming in for Opulous.
Okay, so yeah, so basically you're allowing them to have an easier experience trying to not only buy the Opulous token, but also to bridge, I guess, from Algorand to Arbitrum. Is that right?
No, so basically the MFT rewards came out yesterday, which were really good, by the way. Some of them were up to 33. Some of them were up to, we're going to publish it probably straight after this once I prove it. So some of them were up to 33% APY for the last quarter. So really amazing rewards. And if someone's going to withdraw $500, before you could only withdraw in USDC. Now you can click to use Opulous, which is, there's a 5% fee in USDC of the transaction or whatever it is, and it's only a 1% in Opulous. So it encourages you to withdraw with Opulous. When you withdraw with Opulous, if you take $500 on that one, it then goes at the same. It goes to Uniswap, buys the Opulous from Uniswap, and then you get the Opulous tokens, which most people then just go to stake. So it just makes
that's the buy pressure.
So it's making more buy pressure, and we'll be doing the same on Ovolt too.
So you've released missions. That's interesting. You got 7 in total to release in terms of your tech updates. I know you can't talk about them, but I'm looking forward to it. When do you plan on releasing some of these?
Yeah, I guess through once the market, it's not about the market being more bullish. It's about more users coming into the market, right? I mean, some of them will come out anyway. Over the next few weeks, we'll be launching multi-chain, which is, Base, Matic, ETH, all the other stuff that will be plugged into Ovolt and the MFTs. And then we just have a ton of products ready, man. The AI is probably the one I'm most excited about. We've just been finishing off the social sharing elements of it. So, you know, any artist can go in, pick any artist out, work out what the amount's going to be for 10 years, and it creates a social image for them straight away to publish to socials. And, you know, you can do it for Drake, right? You can go on and just say, okay, what's one dance by Drake going to make? And I expect that to be very viral, and we'll have some, you know, people come in from the music industry to help with that. Eventually, you'll be able to put yourself on a collaboration with Drake and see how much money that will make. So it's all about kind of creating a viral experience for the data.
That's amazing.
But with that, you know, I'm already speaking to a lot of labels who are interested in it. It's something, you know, we desperately need at Ditto, because I've said this before, but, you know, if we're doing an advance on Ditto, we do probably 10 to 15 a day for artists. The threads at the moment are probably like 30, 40 email threads. You know, the finance officer's on there, the person handling the deals on there. We have to calculate 10 years of royalties, and we have to work out how much they've made for last year. We have to work out the advance. The first version of the AI is just shows the data. The next version will have an advanced calculator on it. So after you get the data, you'll be able to calculate what kind of advance you can give them and how long that would take to pay back for the interest. And it means any artist can go in, and if they've done a record deal in the last 10 years, they can go and check if that record deal was any good, right? Of how much their music's actually worth. So any artist who's about to sign a record deal will be able to go into Opulous AI and check and see if what they're giving them is actually legitimate. And, you know, 90% of the time it's not. And it also helps labels as well, because labels are out there calculating their own advances. So it helps everyone meet in the middle with good data. And that was a tough project, man. It sounds really simple, but, you know, we've taken millions and millions of lines of data from Ditto for the last 10 years and created a totally brand new model in AI that updates itself and gets better as it goes based on the data. It's got chart metric in there from, you know, stuff like TikTok and all the other factors that come in and decide if a song's going to, you know, make, and it changes, you know, up to the second, obviously. So if a song flies up on TikTok tomorrow, it will show in the Opulous AI in their advanced, you know, the 10-year prediction will go higher, and then it's on, you know, it's a 10-year curve of what it does. So we've been working on that for like probably 18 months. And it's, you know, we're just testing it now internally, and we're just waiting to drop it.
I think maybe like the second iteration of that would be actually taking in all types of data from different artists and seeing whether or not they're going to be well positioned together in general. So you would probably have a model where it predicts any combination of artists in the future and their probability based on current events, right?
Yeah,
at that point, you're just calling in the artist and say, look, you have a 50% chance of making something very viral the next 6 months. AI is predicting this. You know, you got to meet up with Billie Eilish or something like that, and that's it's going to be really in front of you right there.
And we went through the whole process of what we do at Ditto, right? Because I've got guys who've been in this for 10 years, and it's like, okay, they've got a feature with, like, okay, we've got a feature with Snoop Dogg. Is he a primary artist on it? Yes. Is he a primary artist? No. Okay, well, if he's a primary artist, it will take into all of Snoop Dogg's data for all of his last releases to work out what they made with the primary artist. It will tell you in each country, you know, it works out every country of, you know, because it has to, it's not just Spotify data, it's data for everything from TikTok, Apple, the whole data pie put together, you know, working out all the data from each country that it goes out to, how much a stream's worth in Vietnam, how much a stream's worth in, it's a hip hop song, okay, well, that's going to do better in this country. And it takes all that data in together and just gives it you in, you know, a couple of seconds. So it's really sick, man. That could be a product on its own, but that's obviously another addition to what people are doing on Opulous, because when they're calculating their MFT royalties, they'll be able to look at, you know, what the valuation could be when artists come in and they want to sell their MFTs. They'll be able to go on the AI and see how much they sell it for. It's all part of the puzzle, you know, of what we're trying to do.
It's just crazy. It's amazing and crazy at the same time. Like, we're in this world now where AI is going to make things obviously much easier, but it's also going to murk the waters, I think, especially with, and I want to talk to you about this, the AI music, because I'm ready to like do something fun today. And actually create an Opulous anthem. I want to create an Opulous anthem using pure AI, and I have no idea what it's going to sound like. I have no idea what it's going to do.
But it's going to be awesome. A scary fact that I shouldn't say. It's like probably I'd say 10 to 15% now. The whole music market that gets uploaded to Spotify is AI, and it's growing, which is pretty scary. It's great for my business at Ditto. I mean, that's, you know, it's going crazy for subscriptions. But if you look at it. If you look at there's probably people who've never picked up a guitar in their life now putting an album out. As we're going to find out.
Right. Oh my God, I'm crazy. Listen, I've actually used some of this AI art and AI music, and it's actually
incredible. You can put this on Spotify if you want.
That would be great. You know what? Let's do it right now. Like, this is live. I have no idea what it's going to sound like. I already did an earlier version. It was, I don't know. But I want to get like, I want to hear your style of music. I want to know exactly what you feel like this should represent. So I'm going to go and say, for the lyrics of the song, I wanted to be, let's say, use strong words, positive words. Let's use strong positive words to describe Opulous. And it's funny because, you know what? It does know that Opulous is representing music in crypto, by the way. I don't even have to tell it. It is pretty remarkable. So use strong positive words to describe Opulous in the music industry. There we go. Oh my gosh, I can't spell anything anymore. Okay, so what kind of style of music do you want to do?
I think hip hop, innit? It's always pretty fun.
So, hip hop. With what elements? Do you want like guitar? Do you want how about you want to go do girl group? And do some piano elements. Okay, so hip hop, girl group, piano elements, strong positive words to describe Opulous in the music industry. All right, so this is gonna write me all the lyrics when I just hit the button like this. By the way, I'm actually subscribed monthly to Suno. I fucking love it. I think it's incredible.
Come on,
it's dirt cheap. It's like $10. You get like 1,000 credits, and you can, because the issue is the iterations sometimes are really good, sometimes they're not. The interesting part about the lyrics is that sometimes they don't pronounce the words properly, so you have to alter the words in a way that it sounds right. Sometimes, like, the whole song is good until the very end, and it just, you know, destroys the ending, and you're like, oh man, I got to throw it in the trash. So it's always like a give and take with these things, but we'll see how it goes. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so we got hip hop, girl group, piano elements. Okay, and then Opulous, the Rising Star Anthem. Let's do Anthem. How do you spell anthem? Anthem. I think that's right. Oh. Thank you. All right. And we're going to play this live. This is going to be interesting. This is how far the music industry is going to get to. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because I know personally, if I'm going to be creating music and I need some help, I'm out of ideas, I don't know what to do, I'm going to use some AI to get me started, right? Maybe get a really nice beat or an idea how to do things. Yeah. And I can take it from there. And even if the song is completely complete and you want to use it for whatever reason, you can actually just remake it and use the cadence and the singing quality and the type of singing within the song. So it's going to be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to stop the music that's playing right now, and then we're going to listen to how it sounds. All right? I'm nervous. Let's go. Let's hit this up.
From the shadows he emerged, strong and bold, turning every dream into a story told. His voice is a symphony of hope and light, making waves in the day and night. Opulous, you shine so bright, transforming darkness into pure delight. Your music a beacon of endless might, guiding us through.
I'm not feeling this at all. All right, see, you can go in different directions. And see, it's having a hard time with Opulous.
You know what? We did one before. We just got ChatGPT to write the lyrics. We just said write a song about Opulous, and we put that into it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the music's good, but the lyrics are probably pretty bad.
Yeah, we can always redo it. Do you want to send me the text in a DM, okay? And I'll redo it.
ChatGPT. We have some good questions in the chat if you want to have a look at them. I'll just do this.
Yeah. So we have here, is Solana chain going to be included in the multi-chain?
It will, but not in this iteration. It's probably about another month because it's a bit the technicalities are a bit separate, but we definitely will be there by the end of the year.
Yeah, I think it's important to have Solana now included in everything because of the massive user base that it deploys every single time. So if you can, at least provide that liquidity back into Opulous via Solana, that's super important.
Yeah, definitely, man. Oh, mate. I can't do this. It's put my name all over it. That's going to be cringe. Where's it again?
It's going to be cringe. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think, doing something like this is interesting. You can put it on Spotify. You can have it. I'll send it to you once we finish. So let me delete this. Let me do this again. And
bro, it's so bad. The lyrics are so bad. This is why I'm not that scared of AI. Honestly, it's like it's everything. Even when you ask AI for anything creative, it's so cheesy, right? It never kind of gets to that level of creating something cool.
Okay, describe. Let me do this again. Describe why Opulous is the best in crypto. There you go. Watch this. Okay, so we're gonna do this. All right, so we got some lyrics. I'm not gonna even look at them. I'm gonna say, all right, Opulous anthem.
I just sent you a ChatGPT version on Twitter.
Should I even look at it?
It's just like Opulous will fly high, and it's just awful. It's that, to be fair.
No, that's true. It's pretty awful. It is pretty awful. I'll have to admit it. I don't know if you want to do this. Okay, let's try using this prompt and see how it goes. But if any of you guys are listening in right now, you're using Suno and you want to do an Opulous anthem, please do, and then tag me, and we'll listen to it, and I think Leo will be agreeing to this.
Yeah, best
we'll put it up.
On Spotify.
Best one will be on Spotify. All right, so let's give it a go.
Opulous, oh, the future's bright. Crypto dawn through the night with the blockchain might. Opulous, take us to the height. Riding on a digital wave, financial freedom we all crave. No more banks to enslave. Opulous, make us brave. From tokens to smart contracts, Opulous got the facts. Innovation never lacks in this world of crypto acts. Opulous, leading the pack, breaking chains, never look back. With each block we stack. Opulous lights on track. Decentralized profits rise, trust no longer in disguise. Tech to revolutionize, Opulous energize.
Definitely not signing these to a deal. So anyway, we tried. Clearly, it's more difficult than it looks.
Someone mentioned Billie Eilish, and I bet she's absolutely bricking it now after hearing that.
All right, for sure. For sure. We're not getting any collabs with them, for sure. Based on that. Seriously. So yeah, I think AI music is going to be still around. There's ways to go about it. I think I remember seeing a Timbaland video, and he was in a studio talking about AI music, and he was asking questions, and he was like, "Wait a minute, so it knows how to sing the song, because you can actually upload your music into Suno, and it adds lyrics right on top." And he was floored that you don't have to use the entire song. You can use parts of the song and actually add it to your own song. And the best part about the Suno, at least the one that I'm using, is the quality that comes out of it is really, really good. So like the compression levels are really good on the drums. The synths sometimes look too high with the high end frequencies. So you would have to like do some work there. But for the most part, like it sounds really, really good. Now I'm assuming there's going to be a fourth iteration or fifth one down the road, and I'm curious to see what they do to it. Maybe they'll have more options, more control over what you port out. But I'm super interested to see how this works, man. You might have to have a special section just for AI music on your platform, by the way.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Like Apple have completely banned it. Spotify is still letting it on, as far as I believe, as long as it doesn't sound too much like it. I mean, the best thing to do with any of these tools is, just kind of use bits of them and try and make something actually good instead of just typing something in, making 10 songs and putting it on Spotify, right? But people, I think a lot of people think, well, I'll just make an album, put it on Spotify, and make loads of money. So that's why at the moment it's very difficult. So it's in the music industry.
I mean, my kids are using it. I mean, my daughter, she's younger and she's musically inclined. She loves creating stuff. And as soon as I showed her Suno, she was like, she spends honestly like an hour or two a day just making music and trying to change the lyrics. And she's into K-pop too, so she changes the lyrics based on the Korean.
All the bad
Oh
words
yeah,
out.
and I'm telling you right now, like some of the stuff, I'm like, this is not real. And she's like, yeah, I made this. I'm like, fuck, that's amazing. And I think at some point we're gonna get to, like, imagine me create something with AI and it sounds really good, and I can go online on YouTube and put it out there and say this is like the brand new BTS song, and people will go crazy. And it's like, it's not right. Like, how are we gonna know the difference, right?
They'll have to make better. They'll have to make better music. Which is, they'll have to make some better music. I mean, it'll make everyone actually. But it's great for me as a distributor. Bring it on. Get all the kids making music. Get the subscriptions on Ditto. Yes, please.
That's probably what's going to happen. I think you'll have artists that are 10 years old, right, making music from AI, and you're going to be like, I'm sorry, how old is he?
I'm sorry, pay the $10, no questions. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. We spent an hour and a half pretty much chatting about everything. Do you want to put out anything else that we kind of missed? Did we cover everything?
Yeah, it's unfortunate I can't talk about other new products. You've seen the big one that I'm launching, that I think is going to be a real big game changer, because it's quite separate to the Opulous stuff, and it'll bring in a ton of new users because those apps at the moment are so popular. But it'll be another way of artists promoting their song and users getting airdrops of different stuff for just doing simple tasks like Spotify pre-saves. Like I said, the main thing we've worked on this whole year is how to get more people into the ecosystem. Our basis is splitting rules. We built a really cool platform that will take any song, split it, pay everyone that does it on the blockchain, all that stuff. So now it's about bringing that to the masses, man. And I think there's so many tokens on the market now, right? It's not like 2018. I think it's like 5,000 a day getting launched, including meme coins. And we're in the attention market. It doesn't even matter what a lot of these tokens do. You've got to capture people's attention quickly to get users and to get people interested in it. It's a very different market to what it is. So I think one of the best things that I love about Opulous is music, and it's fun. You're not there was some guy yesterday talking about the RWA space and avocados, and it was like, people do like avocados, but I'm not, going to get as excited about avocados as I'm going to about music. And there are so many different things that have come in. But if you ask any person what their top 3 things they love in life, it's one of them is going to be music. And to be the only RWA music projects is amazing, man. It's crazy to me that a lot more people from the music industry aren't starting blockchain stuff, but they're just so far behind, as I was saying earlier about the Ditto stuff. And it's not easy at some point being the first person to do it, because you have to kind of do more work, but ultimately it puts you in that point
boundaries.
But it ultimately puts you in the point where you're ahead of everyone. But it's a great space to be in, man. And Opulous will just get more exciting as we go.
And as we talked about it before at the start of the stream, we're that much closer to the bull run. I think it's so easy to see to me, while we are so bullish on Opulous in general, and when liquidity does find its way back into altcoins, which will be sooner than later, we can stop asking the question, when pump, or if we're going to ever see that $1 again, right? And I think we will. And so we just got to be more patient. And I can't talk about price too much, right? But like, one of the things about Opulous, it's always traded well. Whenever there's been any kind of alt market, you'll see Opulous surge. Even now, the buys on Opulous are really strong. And as I said before, the main currency right now is interest, and getting people to look at your token and getting people to trade it. And one of the things I'm most happy about with Opulous is, people are always trading it and people are always interested in it, which is half the battle, honestly, in creating a product. You can create the best products in the world, but if people aren't interested, no one's going to use it. So
So it's looking good, man. The future's looking good.
On that note, I thank you, Lee, for joining me. I really appreciate you stopping by and chatting about Opulous and everything that is Opulous, whether it's AI, whether it's staking, whether it's the new platform that's being built for rewards, whether it's, AI music being launched on Spotify. And actually, I appreciate you deep diving into your past history with Ditto and starting Opulous. It's really appreciated. I'm sure a lot of people who are holders want to see or hear from the person in charge and want to feel like that connection, human connection between the founder and the holder. So I really do appreciate you stopping by.
Right, it's great coming on, man. In the height of the bull run, I did an AMA with a cartoon dog. I mean, that was a low point. Coming on this, brilliant. It was, I can't remember what it was, but that was a crazy bull run. So I love coming on here, man. It's always good vibes. We can chat about, anything from Opulous or the market. So I will be back.
You hear that? We'll be back. On that note, we'll be back next week with another edition of Dgenz Crypto Weekly, episode 56. We'll definitely have another amazing guest. So if you're not following us or our main account, shame on you. Until then, I thank you. I thank you, Lee. Thank you, Stylist. Thank you, Terry. See you guys next week.
Cheers, everyone.
Everyone smile. Terry's got the magic touch, showing shit coins that are much to be desired and loved, like teddy bears and hugs. We collect them all, no dumping. Anyone tell me when they're pumping? Do what you want. Oh yeah. Do what you want.